Hello and welcome to Chaile time. Yobi, how are you? Just before you tell me that, it's already 12 years in this new year.
12 years?
12 days. 12 days. 12 days in the new year.
Was too long.
It's only 12 days in the new year, but it's hectic. But how are you?
Chip, I'm well, but when it comes to it's hectic, it is flying. It is unbelievable. But I'm well. But yeah, issues are just coming in all the time. It doesn't stop. And yourself also, I mean, yes, you've having had CCMA cases already, eh? Yes.
I think I've done 3 so far.
Already?
Yeah. Yeah, so
I've had good results, especially yesterday's one. But but we'll talk about that one.
I know we'll talk about that
We'll talk about that one a little bit more.
What are we talking about today?
Look, it's a bit of a sensitive matter, and I understand that people can have different views on this, and they must please not. They're welcome to criticize. I don't mind that, because then people are sharing their opinions and their views, and that's always welcome. But they mustn't criticize too harshly. Because I understand that in everything we always say there's a greater context, and we obviously generalize also. But the topic I want to talk about today is whether HR managers are really neutral in the workplace, or whether they should really be neutral in the workplace. And this all comes from on one of our Harmony People Network groups yesterday. There was a person who asked a question, and one of the answers really triggered this. Now, the answer the person gave wasn't wrong. It was a very good answer, but it still made me think, because this matter comes up all the time about whether HR managers in the workplace are neutral.
Now we're talking in a sense of if there's an internal disciplinary hearing and then they appoint an HR manager to come and chair the hearing. Now, is that from that sense?
Well, that was more relating to the question that was asked. Can an HR manager chair a disciplinary hearing? But you see things, we've been consultants, and I get this quite a lot, where an HR manager will consult with me and he or she, they are in tears, And I've experienced this also. I mean, I've been an HR director in corporate for a few years, and yes, that weekly meetings with your CEO, it is fire and brimstone, I'm telling you. It's a high pressurized environment, and a lot of HR managers cannot understand why CEOs don't want to listen to them, okay? And this is once again the thing, is our courts acknowledge that there's an inherent nature of the employment relationship whereby there's a conflict of the interest between the employer and the employee. Often there's a conflict of interest, and people don't understand this, yet we advocate neutrality. Now, I'm not saying we mustn't be neutral, HR managers mustn't be neutral.
Isn't it because, like you're saying, weekly meetings with the CEO, there's fire there, there's pressure from upper level, upstairs, if I may say it. When you walk into the office, then there's pressure from upstairs. And then now, when you walk back to the ground, now, because you come with that pressure as an HR manager, then instead of you being neutral, you put the best interest of the company first.
Yes, Sepo, you're actually opening a can of worms here. Because I also network, and I've got close colleagues who are corporate culture specialists. And when I have a meeting with them, it's always a water and an oil effect. It's like I hear them. They're creating this ideal world, this perfect world. The HR manager standing in front of staff, having a smile on her face, creating this aura of neutrality, but in her heart, she's under so much pressure and being told what to do. Like, for instance, in the boardroom, you are told you will fire or retrench the following people. But in the meeting, we're going to follow a selection criteria which is objective and scientifically proven.
Last in, first out.
Last in, first out, or whatever the case may be. And we're really going to try to save your jobs. But in your heart, Yanni is gone. You know that.
I know, this one is very sensitive.
You see, but let's just read this WhatsApp, which actually triggered this. And once again, the idea is here not to lambast HR managers. Yes. That's not the case. The idea is to highlight the reality of the competing interests between the parties. That can also explain to HR managers why they are this conflicted species, if I can call it that way.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, your CEO, and once again, please understand context, but this is my experience, okay? Most CEOs, they care about making money. That's it.
Yeah, but that's the name of business.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah, it's not wrong.
I'm a CEO too. I want to make money. I'm not saying it's wrong. But the difference is this. You can make money in a shrewd way, or you can make money in a proper way by actually doing what the corporation culturist tells you to do, by creating an ecosystem whereby you're looking after the interests of all the parties. Because ultimately, we're also a species whereby we work together, we hunt in the pack. So if you work together, you will ultimately be more successful. But a lot of CEOs don't see this. I mean, yesterday I consulted a massive company. This woman was on maternity leave. She came back and she found herself in another job. The CEO just transferred her. Now her lawyers send a letter saying they're going to sue and all these kind of things. So when I consulted the HR manager, she's like, the company's wrong.
The very same HR manager of the very same company.
Yeah, but she wasn't involved in this transfer. The CEO just unilaterally did it out of his own. But you see, this is the thing, and this is beautiful from CEOs. If it wasn't for CEOs, capitalists, we wouldn't have seen the nice buildings.
Yeah.
But the CEO is very short. From A to Z. It's like, I want to make money, you in the way, get out of it. Simple.
Yeah.
But now the question is, does the CEO want an HR department that's neutral, that's going to give you the law? Or do you want an HR department who is an enabler, that can cover you in you doing whatever you want to do? And this is a question to HR managers. Really. You, as an HR manager, your executive team, do they want you to be an enabler or somebody that's going to champion the flag of fairness, neutrality, and law in the workplace? And please, this is not for judges and commissioners, because they're going to think we are shrewd now, you see. I'm just saying the reality here now, okay?
This just got me thinking that now, in my experience, working from retail, everywhere where I worked before, with your guidance, of course. So I will get there and then there's a general manager who is so tough. You know how I survived? I was like, not everyone is Toby Nell. Then I pick up my thick skin, then I walk in.
What he's trying to say is, I'm actually a nice person. I may be a devil when it comes to representing like a CCMA, but here in my company, I'm kind.
Yeah. So HR managers, not everyone can be Toby Nell. That's the moral of the story.
But also a lot of HR managers want to be like that, but they're not allowed to be a company because there's a misperception that every employer wants an HR manager who fights for the staff or neutral, whereby most employers, and HR managers fails to discern this, most employers want somebody that's going to protect the company in their devious tactics.
That's what I said earlier. And you said I'm opening a can of worms.
But you are, because employers don't want to hear this. And HR managers also, you come out of university and you've got this idea of changing the world and you're going to be neutral and, you're going to create this nice working environment for employees. And by the way, that's probably the correct way. So I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying it's divorced from reality. Most CEOs and employers want to make money. They put up a face of, we're going to invest in corporate culture and social economic development of our community. But it's not about that. It's about scoring points and it's about making money. And it's not wrong. I'm not saying it is wrong. We need to make money. We need active, successful businesses. I'm saying, HR manager, wake up, smell the coffee. This is your environment. And you know what, Chepo? Am I going to say this? We are enablers.
Yeah, we are.
So company, if you need that HR manager that's going to fight for you, the red team is the way to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on, not the other red team, this red team.
No. We all start with E, by the way. A.
This red team that starts with this E, not the other E.
But anyway, yeah. But I think that will be a topic for another day. I'll raise it another day. Yeah. I've been in the process of transition when the company was doing away with a labor broker, and then the company was employing their employees direct to the company.
Okay.
And I handled that process very well. And I was put in a position of ensuring that the employees are happy with the new terms and conditions, and then nothing is going to change. And actually, they're going to report to me direct. I'm going to be the one taking care of them. And actually, it was a smooth transition from there. But
look, once again, there's context. I'm generalizing. There is actually a lot of executives that actually sees this, that understand this. They understand that inside the business, you're actually a team. And if you want to be successful, and this is also part of the purpose of labor laws, is to create peace in the workplace. It's actually labor laws in a way exist to help a company operate smoothly and efficiently and effectively. That's why it exists. So if you can have peace in your workforce, I mean, you can do so much. So a lot of companies actually do understand that. So obviously I'm generalizing, but I'm just now tired of all the tears, man. Oh, my boss doesn't understand me. You know?
let's not get carried away.
Anyway,
Read the WhatsApp.
this is the WhatsApp that I got yesterday. Hi all. What are the pros and cons of an HR manager chairing a discipline hearing in a unionized workplace? Any case law that you can recommend? So I just said, look, you really do not need case law for this. I've actually never seen case law on this. The silence of Schedule 8.4 speak volumes. Anybody can chair a hearing. Now, in my answer, now this is not legal advice. Obviously, there are industries or companies with collective agreements that lock certain people out from chairing hearings. I'm not talking about that really. I'm talking in its purest form in terms of Schedule 8.4 of the Labour Relations Act. Now, let's just read quickly Schedule 8.4. Now, interesting, Schedule 8.4, the schedules of the Labour Relations Act is part of a Code of Good Practice. The Code of Good Practice in itself is actually not the law, by the way. It's not the Labour Relations Act. The Code of Good Practice is the Code of Good Practice. It gives guidelines on procedural matters. But the LRA does state that a decision maker must take into consideration the Code of Good Practice. So, in a way, you're not going to get away from it, okay? Now, when it comes to misconduct hearings, this is a procedure to follow. Number one, this is now Schedule 8.4, subsection 1. Normally, the employer should conduct an investigation to determine whether there are grounds for a dismissal. This does not need to be a formal inquiry. The employer should notify the employee of the allegations using a form and language that the employee can reasonably understand. The employee should be allowed the opportunity to state the case in response to the allegations. The employee should be entitled to a reasonable time to prepare the response and to the assistance of a trade union representative or fellow employee. After the inquiry, the employer should communicate the decision taken and preferably furnish the employee with a written notification of the decision. So I'm not going to go to subsection 2, 3, and 4, but that's basically the procedure. Nowhere does it say disciplinary hearing. It says investigation. Nowhere does it say chairperson. Nowhere does it say an HR manager cannot chair a hearing. So from the legal position, anybody can chair a hearing. As a matter of fact, the hearings we have today of this little mini court case is not what this is about anyway. I know companies, you know how they do hearings, Chaile?
No.
I know a company in the security industry. They will send you an email saying, listen, this is a charge against you. You're welcome to find yourself a representative or interpreter. Please, you have 2 or 3 days to respond. You send the email back with your response, they will send you email back, you're fired. Nothing wrong? Schedule 8.4.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Schedule 8.4.
I get it. Remember, we are all, what do I say, or how do I say this? We are all now structured to the old ways of doing things. I must sign a notice, and then if you refuse to sign, someone must sign as a witness. You must get at least 48 hours to prepare, and then you must sit in, get the union rep to come in, and then...
But Chaile, but I'm not saying this is how you must do the hearing, because people like us who need to protect parties at the CCMA or companies at the CCMA, if you
Parties.
just... No, whatever. Choose man. Simple man, I'm off my track here, but
Sorry.
anyway. So when we protect employers
Parties.
at the CCMA, it's difficult to prove that we follow the fair procedure if it was so informally done. we want to have the check and balances, you see. So we can say, yeah, an employee was notified in the formal language, I understand, yeah, it is in writing or whatever the case may be. But it doesn't even say you must charge a person in writing. You can just do it verbally. But it's difficult to prove, you see.
It's difficult to prove when they're going to say, like now, currently, you give someone their charges, they sign, and then they say, I didn't understand the charges when they get to the CCMA.
Yeah,
I don't know what is that I'm charged with, you see. And they blatantly lie there, even though you followed the right procedure, which is not there.
So here, another person commented, I would say chairing disciplinary hearings makes HR managers less neutral and more directly involved in decisions about discipline. Why are you there? It's not to take decisions on discipline. Anyway, this could undermine employees' trust in HR and make them less likely to bring issues and concerns to HR. Playing a more neutral advisory role allows HR to focus on upholding policies and procedures. It keeps them freer to give advice to both managers and employees. My 2 cents worth. Nothing wrong with the answer. But once again, we're talking about context. You get a small plumbing company as an example. They maybe have 10 employees. They maybe have an HR manager or administrator or whatever. In that context, they probably don't even have a lot of policies, you know. That HR manager will make coffee for the CEO, will investigate the hearing and probably chair the same hearing too, and represent the company at the CCMA. So that HR manager is a jack of all trades. So once again, this kind of answer tells you this person is probably in a corporate environment where you learn all these things. But now, what the person is saying in that circumstances is correct. It is the proper way. HR should try to be neutral. Because if HR is seen not to be neutral, then who will the employees approach?
Yeah.
You see, but the fact that you use the word neutral in the same sentence as HR manager, it made me think, are HR managers really neutral? Now, let's come back to the statement of interest. And this is the thing, I'm telling you, your company can have the greatest corporate culture in the world, but when it comes to the CCMA, it's a dogfight.
Yeah.
I've seen the best HR managers, the sweetest HR managers, becoming animals at the CCMA. Not literally animals, and don't shoot me, yeah? It's by way of speech. Let me give you an example. Yesterday I consulted a woman. That was the day before yesterday. The day before yesterday, I consulted a woman. She's on a fixed-term contract. She's a teacher. Okay, she works for the school governing body, and she had 4 rolling fixed-term contracts of 12 months each. So now the last one expired the 31st of December 2023. And I called into a meeting on the 7th of December and told her, look, they're going to renew it obviously for another year. But now instead of teaching grade 7, she's going to teach grade 3s, and she was fine. Later that day, the HR manager came and said, listen, by the way, your contract is ending 31st of December 2023. Thank you for your service. You won't be employed anymore. No reason whatsoever. She later got a letter from the lawyer saying, listen, blah, blah, blah. You know, your contract expired end of December 2023. All the best for the future. Just like that. No explanation whatsoever. Nothing. How's that for HR manager being neutral? She was obviously told. Now, when I consulted the employee, the only thing she can think of, now remember this, labor relations is first of all a relationship. Humans mostly, naturally operate on the emotional level, the animal level. It's very difficult to actually operate on the logical level. You think you're logical, but you're not. I mean, to give you an example, you and your spouse, you can maybe go to the shop and you want to put the groceries in the car. And maybe you're not packing the car right, and immediately your wife will tell you, listen, you're not packing right. And what will you do? What are you to tell me? What's wrong with you? Emotional level. Instead of thinking logic level, maybe she's right. You see, we don't naturally operate on the logical level. We operate on the animal, our primate level, okay? So what happened in October last year, she said she had an incident with the head of the school. She refuses to increase the marks of students who didn't deserve it. So if you failed, in her books, you failed. There's no extra 2 points.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking, maybe this HOD is now threatened, or, you're not cooperating, or my vision or whatever the case may be. Now it becomes a personal thing without you saying it. And now who's bearing the brunt? The HR manager. Get called in and say, listen, make her
disappear.
Go away. And in the next meeting with the general staff, she decided not to be with us anymore and we wish her all the best. You know how it is. Once again, I don't want to focus on rightness or wrongness. I'm focusing on interest. You will do well if you're an employee, if you enter the employment environment open-minded and knowing that you're about to enter the arena of another party's interest. And this is also a tip. When you go for an interview and to ask you, why do you need a job? Don't say, I need it. Say, you need me. It's about their needs, not you.
Not you.
Tell them how you're going to smile and not be full of nonsense.
Yes.
I wanted to use another word. And how you're going to make them wealthy. And how you're going to treat their customers nice. It's about their interests. So, then we have also a good example. I'm busy helping an HR manager. I'm an HR coach, by the way. She's working for a very well-known big corporate company in South Africa. And you know what? She's neutral. She's a champion for the law. She's a great HR manager, okay? She's a champion for the law. She's a champion for what's right. And which results in her always complaining about the non-performance or the non-compliance of the executives. Because frankly, I suppose the executives don't really care. But she can see all these issues brewing in the workplace. And she's trying to resolve it. But she's meeting deaf ears at exec level. She was simply called, when was this? In October last year. She was literally told, listen, you're working too slow. You need to get out of the business. Will you accept a mutual separation agreement? This is in the board meeting, by the way. And she's like, what the hell? And she said, no. She said, okay, then you suspend it. And they literally escorted her out. She's like, what happened now? Now it's apparent that they want to outsource our HR department. And I'm putting one and one together. I'm saying, okay, like, obviously, I know this person. I've been coaching her for more than a year.
Yeah.
She's neutral. She's fighting for the law, what's right in the workplace. Ultimately, if you follow her advice, the workplace will be better. And you'll probably be more successful as a business. But okay, park that. The company, however, you know, some of the executives, the CEO appointed his friend as another executive. So you get this little political hub inside the executive team. They're obviously trying to protect their own interest. I don't know what they're doing behind the doors. But at the end of the day, you have the interest of the employers. And I can only imagine they want the kind of HR people that will not really champion HR in the workplace. They will be enablers. So if they say retrench, even if it is unfairly done, these people will cover me at the CCMA.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. This is probably what they want. They're not ready for a real HR manager.
Yeah, boardrooms are other places because now
Boardroom is a tough environment. If you're HR, that's why Harmony Network is so bloody successful, because you know the HR manager make coffee, recruit the cleaner, recruit the CEO. She fights the criminal case, the civil case, the labor cases. You know, if you want a Wi-Fi router or a laptop, whatever, who do they ask? They ask the bloody HR manager.
Yeah.
You know, they need to do everything.
Payroll and everything.
Payroll and freaking everything. The HR manager, yes, I think it's a great job, but it's a tough job.
Yeah, it is.
So, but just lastly, for us to end off quickly, you had a case yesterday. Now, this is an example of how enablers operate. Because now, in your case, we're not defending an employee who was unfairly dismissed.
Yes.
It's one of those cases whereby we recommended in the hearing that the person is not guilty of the charges. The employer, out of their own, chase the guy away. So we know there's zero case. But we must enable her now, ne? Tell what happened?
So now we walk in there, CCMA, 5 minutes early, the commissioner is sitting there. Commissioner, can we come in? He said, oh, yeah, I'm really waiting for you. We sit there. The employee brings the lawyer. And the lawyer, I only saw the application yesterday morning. So the commissioner asked, did you receive the application? I'm like, no, I don't have a stress with the lawyer sitting in. He can sit in, Can we revert back to conciliation? I'm like, always.
But this is now arbitration. Eh?
Yes, this is now arbitration. But now the commissioner is like, can we revert back to conciliation and see if we can resolve? What do you want? The employee. And then he said something like 6 months. And the commissioner is like, I'm telling you, there's no way that you're going to get 6 months. Chances of you getting 6 months, blah, 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 blah. And the commissioner is like, I'm going to give you 10 minutes just to try and resolve this. I'm like, Commissioner, I have a jurisdiction matter to raise here. Okay, tell us. I'm like, the CCMA doesn't have jurisdiction to arbitrate this matter. Actually, it must go to the Road Freight Bargaining Council. Okay, can you show us what are you talking about? Then I took the contract, then I took the new agreement, and then I showed them. You see, this gentleman repairs trucks and what. And the lawyer is like, yeah, but they are not registered. I'm like, no, it even covers the non-members.
See, yeah, you read that sentence there, and it says valid until 25.
The commissioner, quickly, it's like, gentlemen, unfortunately, I'm going to get a hiding from Bramfontein if I continue with this matter. He referred the matter now, but he transferred it, so it's not going to start afresh. It's
going to start fresh,
yeah.
But the point is, because companies don't do what the HR people tell them to do, at the end of the day, it becomes this ghost hunting, whereby you need to try to make cases disappear. Now, the problem with this employee is, I believe, look, we already had conciliation.
Yes.
And at conciliation, we didn't mention anything about jurisdiction, okay? So that's part of the reason why the lawyer is upset.
Yeah, he was
this employee
frustrated.
stays 5 hours from here.
He was
So you play that chess game, you see.
He was very upset. Commissioner, they could have told us in conciliation. The commissioner is like, you know that you can raise an in limine point just after the arbitration, when everything is done and then we are about to close, and then you can say, can I raise a point of in limine? Do you know that? And the lawyer's like, and the commissioner is like, as a person of law, you must know this kind of things because you know the law.
But Shepard, you know, there's another jurisdictional point on this case we may play next time at the bargaining council.
We are not devious.
You see this thing, people say sometimes we're unethical. No, we're not. We're playing the law, man. It's the law.
We are not devious.
No, it's the law. But we are fighting for the interest of our masters. And don't say, yeah, you shrewd people. You're on the payroll of the company. Yes, we are. You're also on the payroll. I hope people enjoy this because we say it as it is.
Yeah, no, it is like
as
that.
it is.
It is like that.
We're not breaking the law. Now, let me just talk about this next jurisdictional point. What this company do is, they've got a company in the logistics industry, and then they've got a company that provides the staff. So the staff are on this company's, the contracts are in this company's name. So you're employed by this company, but you provide a service to this company. So in this case, this guy is a mechanic working in the workshop, placed by this company to work in the workshop of this company. And they are in the transport industry. So there was nothing devious there. It is the way it is, okay? But the next jurisdictional point, in terms of section 198A of the Labour Relations Act, it deals with temporary employment services, which was amended in 2015, by the way. It now says that if a labour broker places an employee at a client company for longer than 3 months, and this employee earns below the earnings threshold, currently that earnings threshold is 20,092 rand a month, okay? Then the client company is deemed to be the employer. You see where I'm going?
Yes, no, I know exactly.
So what you can do next time, now, technically speaking, this company is a labour broker. It satisfies the definition.
Yes.
So what stops you from going next time to say, Mr. Commissioner, before we speak on settlement, this is jurisdiction.
You cited the wrong.
You cited the wrong person. Even though your contract says us, in terms of section 198A, you're actually working for them.
And they must be there.
They must be there. You know what will probably happen then? The commissioner's going to go once to get okay, and this time cite both parties. So you and them will appear next time. But you know what? It's another 5 hours he must drive. 10 hours back in.
Okay, stop telling people about our chicks. Let them bring us on board so that we can...
Seppo, this is about interest. I'm demonstrating the reality of interest.
Yeah, it is.
And your HR or IR people having nice faces, there's probably much more behind that smile. And once again, they are facing a lot of pressure also because they have labor they're the middleman between labor and capital. So I don't want to, I didn't try to highlight who's right and who's wrong, but the reality of interest. Every day I go out there, fight in the CCMA and consult in the companies, and it is this thing, interest. Staff wants this, CEO wants this, shareholders wants that. But all spheres of society operate that way. Politicians want this, the religious leaders want this. You know, everybody wants. Anyway, Chaile, that is for this week.
Well, the question remains, are HR managers as neutral as we think they are?
A bigger question, should they be neutral? They are paid by their master.
Interest. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. See you next week. It's Chaile time.
And if you do need assistance, the details you can find it on this program. Bye-bye.
Bye.